Good morning, students. The next topic we are going to see is about power in an AC circuit. So, let us see with what is the definition of power. Power is defined as the consumption of electric energy in that circuit. So, whatever circuit we are considering in that circuit, how much the energy is consumed, that gives your power. Okay, so power is defined as the rate of consumption of electrical energy. It is given by the product of voltage and the current. Okay, so it is given by the product of voltage and the current, and we know that P is equal to V into I. Okay, so this is a formula for power. And in an AC circuit, the voltage and the current vary continuously. So whenever you are considering with a AC circuit, it varies continuously. So we have to take one complete cycle. Okay, so power we can calculate only we take with one complete cycle is the positive as well as a negative cycle. Okay, and that gives you your complete cycle. Clear? So when we take the formula for power, before that we are taking the formula for V and I. V is equal to Vm sin omega t and I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. Okay, and power is given by P is equal to V into I. What is the value of Vs? V is equal to Vm sin omega t and I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi. Okay. Now this is of the form sin A plus B. Okay. So this is sin A plus B. So this can be written as sin A cos B plus cos A sin B. Okay. So sin A cos B minus cos A sin B. Okay, cos A sin B. Now here instead of this A and B, we have the term omega t and phi. Okay, so this becomes as sin omega t cos phi minus cos A. Okay, so cos A is what? Omega t. Okay, so it is cos omega t sin B. B is what? Phi. So sin phi. Okay, so this formula we have to write instead of this sin omega t plus phi. So it is Vm Im sin omega t into this formula. Now multiply this sin omega t inside, so that this sin omega t into this, so we get sin square omega t, and here if you multiply cos omega t sin omega t into sin phi. Okay, here in this value, as we have seen already, power, whenever we are taking with a power, we have to take one complete cycle. So whenever you are taking with one complete cycle, this value of sine will be equal to 1 by 2. Okay, so this sin square omega t will become as 1 by 2, and in this value of sin phi will be equal to 0. Okay, so sin square omega t will get 1 by 2 and sin phi is 0. So when this sin phi is 0, this fully becomes 0. Okay, so we get only Vm Im cos phi and also this half. So the power average is given by Vm Im half into cos phi. Okay, so Vm Im cos phi into half. Now how can you write this 2 as I have told you already? 2 can be written as what? Root 2 into root 2 naludalama. Okay, so this is written as Vm divided by root 2 and this Im divided by root 2. Idhula Vm divided by root 2 irukku illaya, that can be written as Vrms. Okay, so we are writing this as Vrms, and instead of this Im divided by root 2, that we are going to write as Irms. Okay, into cos phi. That gives you a value of power. So power is given by Vrms Irms into cos phi. This Vrms into Irms, that is written as apparent power, and this cos phi is written as power factor. So power average is given by the product of apparent power into the power factor. Okay, so the average power is also known as a true power of the circuit. Clear? So Vrms Irms is called as what? The apparent power, and the cos phi is also called as what? Power factor. Okay, now we have few special cases which denotes this formula is very important. P average is equal to Irms Vrms into cos phi. Okay, now when we see the special cases here, first whenever you are considering a purely resistive circuit, in purely resistive circuit the angle is what? Between the current and the voltage is 0. Seriya? So resistive circuit la angle another 0. So when you write the cos 0, the value of cos 0 is what? 1. Okay, So power average formula என்னது VRMS IRMS into cos phi. Cos phi value is 1, so we are getting VRMS into IRMS. Okay. Next is purely inductive or resistive. So purely resistive மட்டும் இருந்துச்சுன்னா நம்மளுக்கு என்னது 0. Next purely inductive or capacitive. Inductive capacitive இருந்துச்சுன்னா angle என்னதுன்னா pi by 2. Okay. அப்ப cos pi by 2 value என்னது 0. Okay. What is the formula is P average is equal to VRMS IRMS into cos phi. Cos phi by 0 ஆயிடுச்சு. So அதனால this fully is 0. So power average is equal to 0. Clear with this condition? So first condition resistive அப்படின்னா angle 0, cos phi is 1 and so VRMS into IRMS. Next inductive or capacitive அப்படின்னா angle வந்து 5 by 2, அப்போ cos pi by 2 is equal to 0 and so power average is equal to 0. Next is whenever you are considering a series RLC circuit, the phase angle எப்படி இருக்கும்? Phi is equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC divided by R. This formula we know already, and also power average. So this formulas we know. But whenever you are considering at resonance, so resonance இருக்கும்போது phase angle என்னவாயிடுது 0 ஆயிடுது. அப்போ cos phi is what 1. Okay, so we get power average is equal to VRMS into IRMS. Okay, so this is a power in an AC circuit. Clear? Thank you.